Доброго дня.
Good morning to everyone who is with us in different regions of Ukraine. We're going to start our briefing, which is dedicated to a very simple topic on the surface of that. But in fact, it's very complex in implementation. How to do that we could pay less for the, let's say, utilities and based on the market condition, not just an increase of the price, which we know. I would like to welcome Oksana Bulgakova, IQ Energy Program Director, who together with the EBRD actually carries out some of the activities which can make Ukrainian dwelling spaces more efficient. This actually is important to each and everyone, so that they can have an access to all those approaches. Also, would like to welcome Maksym Syrotin, representative of the Bosch company. We can ask him how we can actually proper way to take care of the heat and of the space more efficient, and also Dr. Kinchuk, perhaps you can rep of the ISOVER company. Maybe you can also ISOVER. And also Yulia Cheberyak from the OPORA civil network. We are going to ask you about different other projects and how they are fit into this public energy efficiency policy, which exists on the paper but not in reality. It seems to me okay. Anyone who follows us and watches us can put their question how is the situation in each specific city or region, etc. Oksana, you have the floor. Good morning, esteemed colleagues. If I can have my presentation on the screen. Thank you for your attention. I would like to present to you today the IQ Energy project. This is the project of the BRD, which recently was launched in Ukraine. In April this year, we signed the memorandum with our partner banks. In July, we started to issue credit the population. Starting from the September this year, we started to pay out the compensation money, or rather fast manner, which comes from the EBRD, and this amount may be up to compensation may be up to 3,000 hryvnia per person. A few words about the program proper. This is a new program. Similar program are already in place in 20 countries, and we are the 21st countries. EBRD has a good and rich experience regarding the financial opportunities, and this year this program already was launched in Ukraine. A few words about the amount of funding. There are 75 million euros to give out the loans, and 15 million euros were allocated specifically compensation of the expenses to natural persons in the housing communities and since of the owners of the buildings. And we started to pay out the compensation sum in September this year, and we believe that this program is going to continue next year, and that sum of money will be enough, sufficient to compensate pay out compensation to the people. We have our partner Sweden. The European Union makes a major contribution to this fund, and technical support is provided also by Austria. A few words regarding what can be done and should be done in order to participate in this project. First of all, you have to pay the energy efficiency equipment based on the loan. The several banks actually issue those loans, like Bank, etc., and we try to involve ETP and Ukrsib are the two banks, and we try to involve other banks. So this is the first step, to buy the energy efficiency equipment. I would like to say there are different credits or loans depending on the solvency of this or another client, depending on the So the goals, objectives he has, whether this kind of maintenance and repair or let's say comprehensive restructuring, there are different loans to be issued depending on the objectives of the client or the customer. For example, for the Windows, they give the kind of the loans for 3 months payment scheme, or for example, banks can issue more money, starting from 150 hryvnia and more, and the compensation based on these loans will be up to 3,000 euros. And also in the Bosch company, we have the loan for 3 months without any interest rate, so the clients actually do not pay more than the amount of the loan. No additional interest. The major message I would like to convey here that depending on the objectives, task of the clients, there are different financial these solutions, and of course the compensation will be up to 3,000 euros. Speaking about the equipment paid based on the loan, which have to be installed in your dwelling space, it could be apartments or the private houses. The most important that this is the house and accommodation. In the third step after installation of this equipment, you have to take the picture before and after the installation of the equipment. Then you have to register and then submit your application for compensation. This is already a good process in place. We have compensation within the 3 to 5 weeks, and the compensation will be between 15 and 25% of the loan, and the maximum sum, I may repeat myself, 3,000 euros. And they can actually apply to those banks where they were issued a loan. So those are rather simple 3 steps you have to make. Next slide. This is how our portal looks like, IQ-Energy.org.ua. And you can actually visit the catalog of technologies. Today we have 8 categories of the commodities and goods, and more than 20% on the average, they are more energy efficient than the average indicators in the market. There is a possibility to apply for the loan. This is our catalog of technologies. Today we have 2,772 different goods and commodities, and the company's number, which actually sell those goods, the number is almost 800. You can see here the approximate price for the boiler. You can search for the sale outlet, which is the most close to the client. For example, the windows, thermal insulation of windows, then boilers, the heating system, we recently added the doors, etc. We are going to support those categories too. There is an opportunity when you visit the site and you selected what you need, you can apply to be issued a loan. And this application automatically goes to the 2 banks, Aggressive Bank and OTB Bank, and the customer can actually select the terms and conditions of the issuance of the loan, which this or another bank can offer to him or her. Also, you can use a calculator to calculate energy efficiency, calculate what kind of money saving level you're going to reach if you install that equipment. This is how the calculator looks like. Also, there is a chance to make all these steps I described above and understand what has to be done. To start with, when a person just plans to increase the energy efficiency of his apartment or the residential house, there are some of the devices, recommendations related to each step. Step number 1, the energy audit, and all the way up to the replacement of windows or the heating system changes, etc. So please visit our sites and use that in your work. This is how this section looks like. We are not going to speak speak about in detail this point of time, you can find this information at our website. Actually, maybe we can show a short video. Ukrainian dwellings are not energy efficient. They lose about 50% of heat during the winter. In the European and EBRD actually helps the Ukrainians to increase the efficiencies through a special program. You have to buy the energy efficiency goods program from the two banks and leaving the application Q Energy or UA. The partners, the EBRD and the international donors. In this case, we are talking about the Eastern European Foundation supported by European Union. In other words, you can they guarantee the compensation payment. You can actually enter the Q Energy program. Eugenia, you're destined to replace the older boiler with more energy efficient one. Actually, I didn't have money on me at that time, and in this epicenter trading center, there was a representative of the bank, and she told us that we didn't even to pay the first installment. And she took us about 15 to 20 minutes, and the boiler actually became ours. We have the compensation payments very quickly into the account of the customer in euros, and neither bank and the BRD controls how the client is going to use this money. He can use this as a loan, cash, whatever. So this program covers both the apartments, the high rises, or the private housing. I selected the technology program, energy saving windows, and also thermal insulation of the building from outside. Actually, the sum of money, total sum of money was rather big, and I believe that the compensation payment will help me a lot. Actually, we can get that with the several minutes. You only to have passport in the individual tax code on you. Coming to the shop, you can actually be issued a loan in the shop. You don't have to go to some bank office. It's enough to have on you just the identification code and passport. The first payment of the first installment is not mandatory. Okay. This is the information as of last week. Yesterday we started to pay out for November. We pay out very rather quickly. We have to after confirmation of compensation, the client can receive that sum in euros. Neither EBRD nor any bank controls how the client is going to use that money. He or she can take the cash from the bank or settle or pay for the loan, or it's up to him to decide. Next slide. Several words regarding the results. Today, we already issued loans to the tune of up to 22 million hryvnia. More than 1,000 persons already made use of this program, already received the compensation, or they are going to be compensated in the nearest future. Up to December 18th, we plan to complete our compensation payments for November. This is not really the high season now, but we have some loans to be issued in December. Continue to work this. The average amount of loan is 22,000 hryvnia. There is a possibility to finance some kind of the comprehensive project, etc. So far, this program is meant for natural persons, but next year we plan to start also to work with the owners of the residential buildings, also to provide the thermal insulation. We started to pay out compensation since this September. We already pay for November this year. So the biggest category of goods are windows, as I mentioned before. You can see here the dynamics We have 35% of windows as the shared windows. Also, the category of the heat and heat pumps, thermal insulation, etc., also are on the rise. So it's a kind of comprehensive technology also demand, not only windows.
Now I would like to show several cases. This is Chernigiv Oblast, a house of 120 meters. We mean in the installation, the credit is paid. Another case, 305,000 hryvnia, two categories for installation compensation of more than 2,000 euros of compensation was paid. In each case, we also calculated the energy saving amount of energy to be saved. Another good example, a loan from Bank Zaporizhia, private house, change of windows, 36,000 of hryvnia, and out of them 35,000 have been paid already. We offer different types of credits from our partner banks. We can offer you a credit without any preliminary design and without a certificate about your income. That is, you do not need to waste your time, and without primary financial preliminary financial contribution. Both OTP and Ukrsib offer different types of credits. In both these banks, they offer IQ energy credits up to 19.1%. So the nominal rate for these credits are 19.1%. Also, we continuously offer different promotions, promotion actions. For example, with Bosch company, we offer to buy boilers without any interest rate up to 3 months. Also, we offer grants when several categories of house of warming is offered, like change of windows, change of boilers, warming of walls, etc. Then in this case, the client has to submit application in electronic case and in electronic form and apply for compensation. It is important to mention that compensation is paid both for the energy efficient goods and on installation as well, and supplies which are needed for successful functioning of this equipment. We offer you to visit our website on Facebook, and we also have a hotline telephone number. I would like to ask you several questions. Am I right when I understand that in order to get loan, you have to download the website and find your representative? So in any region of Ukraine, there is no need to travel to Kyiv. So the first step is to buy, to take a credit and buy equipment. But not so many people buy windows from big construction supermarkets. We cooperate with window companies, window production companies, which have relations with banks and which comply with our energy requirements, If the client wishes to install energy efficient windows, they can buy from such a company which is connected with us, with the bank, and and get a loan. Also, he can have credit, then submit an application for compensation. The journalists would like to know where they can see good cases. We have financed more than 1,000 of objects. Not all the clients are ready to cooperate with journalists, but you can apply to us, and we may negotiate with clients that some journalists would come and see with their own eyes. And now the question to your colleagues. Energy audit, how to calculate potential energy saving indicators, how you manage to calculate the energy saving technology, because actually each flat, each building is unique. Our company is not carrying out the energy audit, but we recommend to do this in order to minimize the loss of heat. And first, to change the windows to prevent losing of heat. So before doing anything in your house, you should get professional advice from an expert. Now my question to Svetlana Lavrenchuk. First of all, thank you very much for our company is a part of international concern which last year marked its 350 years. And in Ukraine we offer insulation for houses, heating insulation. I think that support from donors is very important. Our experience in 67 countries with energy efficiency proves that state support in a form of loans appears to be rather efficient, and I always try to say that it's better to save energy than simply change one source of energy for another. On our website, we have a calculator for energy saving. Actually, due to this offered calculator, you can more or less exactly understand how much money you may save having warmed your walls or having changed your boiler or heater or anything, depending on the source of energy, gas, biomass, etc. Also, we are helpful when a client wishes to understand the biggest source of warm losses and heating losses, and we can offer some alternatives. Maybe you will describe new technology.
Well, because everybody would like to replace natural gas with firewood, but not always it's possible. Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to speak here. When the person before actually replacing the gas-based equipment something else to save the electric power, we have to have a very serious approach to this issue, because all those things all of them have their advantages and disadvantages. Gas is very simple to operate in the domestic operation, emissions, whatever. The same about electric power, but we have to take into consideration the tariffs. As for the firewood, or the solid fuel, so to say, sometimes it's kind of the debatable issue, because in order to introduce the special equipment, the customer has to answer two questions: where this equipment is going to be installed. It requires some space, we need the boiler room or boiler house, because you can put that in the garage, whatever. And the second one, where he is going to store the firewood or the solid fuel, as we call it. You have to at least once per day you have to take care of the boiler, to feed the boiler, so to say. But if the customer is prepared to resolve those two issues or answer those two questions, he can actually install this kind of the firewood boiler, but he has also taken into consideration the process flow approach. Sometimes they do not understand how to deal with the boiler, how they're going to have an access to the boiler, this kind of the boiler. They have to consult the experts, some kind of the buffer tank, where the boiler will just provide the heat, just accumulate the heat, and then it will be distributed all over the house or the apartment. This has to be done. Can be done once a day, and again, this firewood boiler have to be maintained, has to be cleaned at least once a week to remove the ash, etc., and cinder, etc., etc. So there are a lot of questions to answer before you decide to install this kind of boiler. Where can we always, are afraid to ask the question from those who are selling, because their major objective is to sell, So where you can find this, ask about those questions? You can call our hotline, and there are some consultants. Please contact them. Their experts will give you the answers. Actually, also you can go to the epicenter supermarket, where our representatives are also present, and they can give you necessary advice and recommendation. And also our partners, they actually try to, and they do not have as a measure of their objective just to sell something. No. They can also provide necessary consultation to the people. So those three advice which you can give. Thank you. I could see our partners in this audience, representative of the company of the heat pumps. Yeah, can you give the floor to one of those guys? Yeah, but please be brief, because we do not have too much time. You mentioned very good figure, 23% of increase of the efficiency using the heat pumps. My name is I'm not a director, but a business consultant. Our company is based on the modern technologies concerning the heating, water, ventilation, etc., attention heating. Well, a very comprehensive system can be found based on the thermal pump only heat pump, which, but it's very easy to operate for the consumers. It's super simple system. We are talking about the Swedish company Nibben, the heat pumps or thermal pumps. This company is the world leader, and we actually operate with those thermal heat pumps. And owing to IQ Energy, our company already can talk about the increase in the interest of the potential clients toward this equipment, and this is a result of our cooperation with our European partners like BRD. Okay, what is the thermal pump or the heat pump unit? This pump actually converts the electric power into heat, but per 1 kilowatt of electric power, we can have the 5 kilowatts of the thermal energy. So we are talking about five-fold decrease of the expenditures. Again, if we are talking about 2-zone or 3-zone meters, we can use the switch on the pumps during the night. Yes, you're right, especially if you have the independent sources of electric power generation, then you can be absolutely independent consumer and the generator of these two kinds of energy, can convert electric power into thermal power. Okay, Yulia, an OPORA network, based on your experience, especially with the activists in different regions, to which, well, speaking about those projects, how those projects can be spread out more and more, if you're talking about the people, how the people actually perceive this idea. Thank you for your question. Good morning. Good morning. Based on our experience from our trips to the regions, to small cities, we can make conclusion that people are not really aware about the existence of such a financial support mechanism. I'm not talking about some state support, but IQ Energy program. So I would like to say that the public policy in the housing sphere and the energy saving in the dwelling compartments must be, first of all, mean that the inseparable and inalienable part of this reform is this spread of this information. What is the public support, the state support of IQ Energy or some other energy or project in the same foundation funding. People do not know about those financial mechanisms which provide support to energy saving. We know about the heat credits, heat loans credits, which are well known, but it turned out to be that the people just did not even hear about this program. Maybe somebody heard something, but nobody understands what is what, and nobody explains them to them. Oh, okay, all those projects have the right to exist, and they have to be numerous in number in order that they could actually fight for their customers and clients, and the clients must have a choice to select this or not financial support mechanism for the energy efficiency, energy saving. Of course, first of all, there must be state support, which has to demonstrate that how we can finance the energy efficiency measures. Okay, what could be the state support and the local support? We are talking about the public support. We are talking about this the existing program, maybe the energy efficiency project which is going to be introduced in the future. They had to go hand in hand in parallel. We can't say that only the program should exist or the energy efficiency program, and the program cannot exist, let's say, when you're talking about 35-40% of the compensation must be the financing of the condominium owners, or if I'm not mistaken, we're talking about 200 programs, local programs which have been approved, and the overwhelming majority of those have been adopted without any funding, This must be, everything must be approached in its totality, so to say, comprehensively, so that you have some public support and the support of the co-owners of the condominiums. If people receive only the public support, they do not understand their responsibility for how to consume the energy or energy resources. The position of the OPORA civil network is like as follows. Such programs might exist at different level, not only the state support or public support, so that the consumer, the clients have the right to choose this or another program separately or in parallel at the same time. We have a chance to ask with the opinion of the regions through the Skype connection. We have the Siversky Donetsk and Mariupol. Okay, I'll start with Siversky Donetsk. Good morning. Can you hear us? You can put the questions to the experts, different experts. Go energy. Good morning. We can hear you well. We copy you well. You confirm that the information is not. The mass media do not carry or cover to sufficiently the information about this program. I have a technical issue. You mentioned that you work so far only with the natural persons, yeah? But next year you plan to start to cooperate with the condominiums. Can condominiums actually rely upon the complete thermal insulation of the building, or maybe they can unite several condominiums in order to have compensation for their expenses to provide heat insulation of the buildings. We are already prepared to cooperate with the condominiums. We have the mechanism to compensate for the comprehensive thermal insulation of the buildings, but our partners do not have the credits or loans to be issued for this segment. We are working on that to create this kind of opportunity. As soon as we are successful, we will start immediately to pay out compensation for the condominiums as well, co-owners. April, we signed already the memorandum. We are talking about some comprehensive heating or thermal insulation of building. Then the condominiums can actually receive this compensation, even more than 3,000 euros, because 3,000 euros the limit for natural persons or physical persons. For condominiums, we do not have this limit, or this restriction could be 10,000 euro and more. And the second center is Mariupol.
Our colleagues from Mariupol, you can ask questions. Good morning. Crisis Media Center, Katerina Medvedeva. My question, you mentioned that you cooperate with two banks. This is Ukrsib and OTP. But your website says that you also cooperate with Megabank. In Mariupol, not all the banks are represented now. Currently, EBRD is now reviewing its relations with Megabank. Probably later, upon this review, we will resume crediting with Megabank. I know that in Mariupol, there is an epicenter construction supermarket, but there are no partner banks, and I hope that next year, upon finalizing of the heating season, some these banks will appear in Mariupol. Whether you provide any grants to people who live along the in the villages along the contact line. The villages in buffer zone where it is difficult to it is not so easy to have a contract with bank in that areas. Yes, we provide loans to all people without any separation between rural and urban residents. If people wish to get loans, they can get them. We have many credits for private houses, for rural areas, from villages, from small towns, that they either take this credit from a partner bank or directly from a construction supermarket epicenter, or they go to the closed city. There is also a question about those cities and towns which are close to the contact line, which have problems with the with presence of banks and construction supermarkets. You can dial up 739 and get a decision from Bank. In this case, you need to call to Bank, tell your passport number, your tax code, individual tax number, and explain your case, and the bank will make a decision based on this information. Siversky Donetsk has the question. Good morning. Could you explain whether you have any plans of cooperation with the local self-government bodies in order to offer more comprehensive approach to local communities? EBRD has such an approach on board, of course, but as of now, our program deals with the warming of private houses. While for EBRD, for home energy efficiency is one of the priorities, they have this approach, while local self-governments, and you may approach to them. Then about warming of municipal housing, there could be a municipal city program aimed at warming of the municipal houses as a whole, and we can apply for grants. If in your region you have a local program, you may benefit from the warm credits program. This will compensate you the interest rate of the credit, and also compensation of the body loan, and also the compensation to the owners of houses. So you may apply for two types of programs, both the state one and... Do you have any questions? No more questions. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your information. We will continue dissemination of this information. And we will continue informing you about a special program for municipalities. Thank you. See you later.